Hello, 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 hello. Commanders, are you there? High roller? Guess it's my tails day. Alright, so I've determined that aid is safe to read. Guys? Guys? Hi, okay, you're hearing me. Hold on. Can you hear me now? Okay, we're gonna read aid. But I would like to give a warning. There is a scene that involves an appendage that starts with F. If you type the F word or anything related in the chat, you will be kicked out of chat for the rest of tonight. Does everybody hear me? Okay? Everybody here, right? So, when we get to the part with the F-named appendage, if you type anything lewd about that or the word in chat, you are kicked out of chat for the rest of stream. I don't think most of you have the tendency to do that, but there are some. Oh, Consina, whoa, hey, you're here. Alright, can you guys still hear me? Yes, so don't type the word. Do we all know what I'm referring to? Blue Tut, you dig it? You get it? Want to make sure everybody understands, because I don't want... If it's an accident, that's different. Okay, out of context. You're the sheriff. If someone does it and I don't catch them, you catch them out of context. Alright, everybody. Bond story for aid. Episode 1, exclusive aid. Exclusive maid aid. No, Blue Tut. Because it will egg on others. Oh, Consina, I was thinking about you. I was like, man, we haven't seen Consina in so long. I was worried maybe you weren't following anymore. Sadness. Glad to have you here. Alright, episode 1. One calm afternoon, the protagonist is feeling a bit down after finishing the most pertinent tasks on his schedule. Does he have any real tasks on his schedule? Let's be honest. Flirt with Nikke. Get hot and heavy with a Nikke. To remedy this, he decides to visit the maid cafe to lift his spirits. Oh, thank you, 1F. 2 export streams. Oh, I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, Jack Tricks. It's mostly... Some people take it too far, and that's why I just have to put a... kibosh, is that the right use of that word? On it altogether. I had to just ban the word. Am I gone again? Guys? Friends? Damn it. What the Okay, do you hear me again? What the fudge? Okay, what I was saying is... sorry to have to ban that word, guys. It's just that some people take it too far. And then, so I just have to put a really, solid line there. And that's why we can't do it. Sorry. Sorry about the internet. I don't know if this is my internet's the problem, I assume. Okay. He decides to visit the maid cafe to lift his spirits, only to discover a sign that reads closed for 1 week. Confused as to why the cafe was not open, he heads inside to get some answers. Once he entered, he was greeted by Coco, and the two were surprised to see each other. Coco wasn't expecting any visitors to the cafe, and Master was surprised she was here, even though they are closed. As the maid leader, she has to stay at the cafe at all times. Jack Tricks. Yeah, apparently I just brought down the whole stream with that. I'm just trying to keep us all, you know. Despite how messy the place is, she offers him a seat, which he accepts, giving us all our best chance. Oh, is there a new aid? Yeah, this is an old aid. I haven't read the new aid, Jack Tricks. After being shown to the tables, the commander was greeted by soda and aid. He chooses a seat and aid helps him get comfortable. I was thinking, Jectrix, this isn't that steamy at all. I mean, it's got a little hugging, but... Coco informs him that while they won't be able to make him anything to eat, they can still brew him some tea if he wants. He orders some black tea and Aid heads to the kitchen to make it for him. As she's busy in the kitchen, Master inquires about why the cafe is closed for the week. Apparently, the water isn't working, so they've called Mighty Tools to fix it. Unfortunately, the squad is very busy, so the maids will have to wait a week before they can get the water flowing again. They will have to remain closed in the meantime. As the maids will be unable to do their normal duties, they can have a vacation during their break, something Soda is looking forward to. As the three continue to chat, Aid returns with the black tea her master requested. She sets it down and warns him that it's hot, and after he takes a sip, he is enamored by the flavor, only to question how she was able to brew the tea if they didn't have running water. They have bought bottled water in case of emergencies, but only enough to make tea with. He then asks what the three intend to do. He asks what the three intend to do with their time off work. Coco wants to relax with a good meal and a long night's sleep. Soda wants to go shopping. As for Aid, she plans on resting for a bit before cleaning all of the dishes. Why would there be any dishes? They're closed. Anticipating his return, she will also be here in case he decides to drop by again. Though the protagonist doesn't really consider Aid's plans as a means to unwind, she's most content being at his service. Though he gets where she is coming from, he wants Aid to take it easy after all she has done for him. Wanting to help Aid unwind until the cafe opens, Master asks to spend time with Aid during the break. She took this to mean he wanted her to be his exclusive maid, the exact opposite of what he was looking for, only for Coco to inform him that normally, the Nikkes from the Maid from Review squad aren't permitted to be exclusive maids. However, she was willing to allow it given none of them will be on duty. Soda became jealous because of this. Before he could try to explain what he meant, Coco wished Aid luck and the perfect maid was looking forward to serving her master. Though things didn't go according to plan, the commander was pleased to get Aid out of the cafe for the time being. Episode 2. Exclusive Maid, Commander. The next morning, Aid visits the protagonist's room, ready to begin her tenure as his exclusive maid for the week. All-inclusive. She has brought him a light coffee, a light coffee, dark roast or dye, and some toast, and begins to make his bed. It only took 3 short gestures to make it neat and orderly. Gestures, what? A feat that impressed him. That makes no sense. Aid was willing. Gestures and actions aren't the same thing. Aid was willing to do his laundry, but before she got carried away, Master got to the heart of why he wanted to spend time with her. For the next week, Aid will not be a maid. Instead, the commander will be her exclusive maid. Wink, wink. This news caught Aid off guard. So he explains that though she takes care of others better than anyone else, someone has to be there to care for her too. He takes her arm and escorts her to her seat before offering her the food she made for him. Also, yeah, bitch, drink this nasty light coffee. Enjoy your dirt water. Also, for the time being, she is not allowed to call him master. I don't know, I think she likes it. And can only refer to him by his actual name, which we will never know. Well, I guess it's just the name you put in, huh? It has become clear that Aid doesn't understand what is going on, so the commander decides to demonstrate he has what it takes to serve her. He begins to pour her a cup of coffee while trying to appear as sophisticated as possible. Though he tries his best, he notices Aid briefly bursts out into laughter before she manages to recompose herself. She apologizes for laughing at him and understands why he wants to be at her service. But Aid is happy being there for other people. But if he orders her to comply with his scheme, she will do so without a complaint. Of course she will, that's part of it. Seeing this as the only way to get Aid to relax, he does as such, and for the next week, the protagonist will be Aid's exclusive maid. Hades, that's a secret. With that settled, Aid has no idea what to do now. Though he informs her that this is not something a maid normally decides, and that it's up to her, she suggests that they go out to eat, since she hasn't ate breakfast yet. She hasn't eaten breakfast yet. As being someone else's master is a new experience for Aid, she appears more flustered than usual. Despite that, the newly appointed maid believes he's starting to understand who she really is. As for where they are going to eat, the maid, formerly called Master, has a place in mind. Sorry, my brain had difficulty with that statement. Episode 3. Figuring out preferences, if you know what I mean. The two head to a fancy restaurant and are greeted by a female waitstaff. While the maid wanted his master to take her seat, it was all too apparent that this experience was entirely out of Aid's comfort zone. Be that as it may, he holds her hand with his and wraps his arm around her waist as he brings her to her table. Yeah, that's not what a maid does. The server was surprised by the two's relationship dynamic. Yeah, I don't blame her. After getting her seated, the protagonist asks Aid what she wants to eat. After reading the menu, she asks her maid for some recommendations. Since she's not allergic to anything, nor does she have any preferences, he orders everything from the menu so they can figure out her literal tastes. After some time, a smorgasbord is set in front of them. Despite the large quantity of food, Aid is willing to try what's in front of her. She samples dish after dish, and they all taste very good to her. But none of them stand out in particular. After she tries the omu rice, her serious look transforms into one of pure joy. She likes the taste of the moist eggs, the way it feels in her mouth, and the unique sauce they added on top. Sorry, I'm not laughing. She was curious about the recipe used to make it. I feel like omu rice is pretty straightforward, but maybe I'm wrong. And it becomes clear to the protagonist that Aid starts talking more and more as she becomes excited. To give her a similar experience to the maid cafe, he offers to recite his own spell to make her food forever tasty, a request she would gladly accept. After casting some magic and covering Aid's omu rice with ketchup in the shape of a heart, or at least he tries to, if he's not capable of doing ketchup in the shape of a heart, his fine motor skills seriously need to be assessed. An adult who can't do a heart with a bottle of ketchup? Anyway. Or at least he tries to. He makes a pun to balance out his lack of skill. Bro, can you hold a pen? She was pleased by his attempt nonetheless. After taking a bite, she admits it tastes better than before, attributing it to his efforts. She was pleased. Oh, wait. Seeing the normally serious Aid more expressive than usual brought joy to the temporary maid, too. As the day comes to an end, the commander escorts his master back to her room. 1F, thank you. He's trying to draw a fully detailed. Oh, it's an anatomically accurate heart. Yeah, that's it. That makes way more sense, 1F. Trying to draw an anatomically accurate heart. Escorts master back to her room. That's valid, DM. That's a really good point. She thanks her maid for accompanying her today. Because of him, she now knows the wonders of enjoying a meal with company. Something he admits to as well. What? He's had a meal with company. Oh, what? Though she admits she still hasn't fully accepted him as her maid, she finally understands what it means to have someone look after her for a change. She's ashamed to admit it, but she's eagerly anticipating the days to come. She gives him one more opportunity to back out, but he's ready and willing to be at her beck and call. The two wished each other a good night's rest before they part ways. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Alone in his thoughts, the protagonist has grown to understand how good it feels to provide services to others, and he too is eager to resume his role as Aid's maid. Hades, I was totally thinking the same thing. Episode 4, Growing Desires. The sun rises and the commander-turned maid wakes up bright and early. The first order of business is to get ready for the day and to awaken his master from her slumber. He heads to Aid's room to get her out of bed. Upon knocking on her doors several times, he doesn't hear her respond. In this unique situation, he decides to enter the room and check on her. Though he had some worries, he was relieved to find her peacefully asleep. Though he has some minor trepidations, he decides to wake his master up. Needless to say, he was very surprised to see the protagonist in her room. God. But given that she had probably forgotten their arrangement, he understands her confusion. He places some omu rice he made in front of her, and he tried his best to replicate the recipe used at the restaurant the two were at before. She wants to wash up first since she had just woken up, so he offers to wait outside for her to finish. After she cleans herself up, Aid eats the omu rice the maid she normally calls master created for her. God, I hate someone. Stop doing that. Though it doesn't taste like what she had before, she enjoys how fluffy and delicious it is on its own. He admits to making it with her in mind, which satisfies her curiosity. As for what's on the agenda today, Aid wants to go and take a stroll and go window shopping. Should any stores sell pottery, she may want to take a gander. He agrees to keep her company. The two spent the entire day traversing the Ark. The entire time the protagonist stood behind his master, who was grinning from ear to ear. After returning from another wonderful day, Aid wanted to discuss what the two would do tomorrow. Before she could, her maid had a suggestion. He offered to give her a foot bath to soothe her feet from all the walking they have done. Though this came as a rather sudden request, she agrees to indulge him. He brings over a basin of water and begins to massage her feet. Okay, I'm going to stand up for my steps. Though she appreciates what he's doing for her, she assures him he doesn't need to go this far. Be that as it may, he's more than content doing this for her. After the maid discovers that Aid has ticklish toes, she thanks him for taking care of her the past few days. She feels she has a lot to learn before she becomes the perfect maid and admits he's a good masseuse. Isn't it a masseur if it's a man? After he finishes, Aid seemed a little disappointed it ended so soon. Oh, so hard not to make a joke there. The protagonist could keep going if she wanted him to, but he was fine to end it there. It was clear to him she was more anxious than usual. Aid felt more relaxed than she had in a while, and thanked him for another great day. The two wished each other well before the maid returned to his room, but as the commander began to leave, Aid absent-mindedly placed her hand on her shoulder as confusion spread across her face. Episode 5, A Maid's Desires. A Maid's Desires, that sounds like an erotic romance novel for women. Like, like The Duke and I. Or the Rogue. one I read when I was a kid was Victoria and the Rogue. It was so spicy. There was kissing. And I was like, I don't know, 14, so. Midnight draws near on the final day of the protagonist and Ade's arrangement. After the clock strikes 12, the two resume their normal roles. They admit to each other that they enjoyed their time together, even with their unique circumstances. Because of her soon-to-be former maid, Ade knows more about herself than she had before. She knows what her favorite food is, and she knows what she likes doing. Most importantly, Ade knows what she desires most above all. Before things go back to normal, Ade wants to hug the protagonist. Oh my goodness. Without saying another word, he opens his arms and the two embrace each other, the former clearly nervous. She was pleased to get to experience this, but just as soon as it started, their phones began to beep, signaling Ade's time as a master and the commander's time as a maid had come to an end. I know, Bravenwolf, filthy. Ade was fine with her master letting go of her, but he realized he had experienced a new first for him. Specifically, this was the first time Ade had ever requested something from him, so he's fine if they stay like this for a bit longer. Ade admits that many desires had developed because she has grown so close to her master. If she could stop time, she would want nothing more than to savor this moment forever. No matter how much she wants to stay in his arms, and perhaps do even more, she knows that she can't. This is really like a woman's romance novel right now. She slowly nudges him away from her and tells him to forget what they've done tonight. If he doesn't, she's worried she won't be able to keep her desires hidden in the future. Since it's very late, Ade takes her leave. She lowers her head with commendable dignity and exits the room, leaving all traces of her desire behind with her. Behind with her, what? That doesn't make sense. Not long after things returned to normal, Master visited the maid cafe, which had reopened for business, and was greeted by the members of the Made for You squad. Ade escorts him to a table and he orders a nice omu rice made with TLC. Ade went into the kitchen to make it for him, and both Coco and Soda were confused by what he meant by TLC. The two were curious about how it felt being doted on by Ade for an entire week, and he admits it was a highly enjoyable experience, never mentioning he was the one caring for her. The two also wanted to take turns being his exclusive maid, something he was looking forward to. Yeah, I bet he's trying to get through all the Nikkes. Not long after, Ade returns with his meal in hand. Before he can dig in, however, she was curious if he was free this weekend. There was a tea festival coming up, and she was hoping he could join her if he was available. Both Coco and Soda were shocked with how bold Ade has become, with the latter believing that she really wanted to go to the festival. Master agrees to join Ade and she leaves him to his meal, grinning with excitement. Ade walks past him and her hand lightly brushes his shoulder. See, this is totally like a Victorian romance that women would love to read, because we love that stuff where it's like she brushes his shoulder and he can barely hold back his desires, his body overwhelmed with heat and passion. What women like. The less touching, the better. Before he can dig in, he was a bit surprised that she would be this brazen. Despite looking completely indifferent, he knew that touch was influenced by Ade's desires. Was this Bond story written by a woman? Because this sounds much more like something written by a woman than the other stuff. Her suppressed urges slightly bubbling to the surface. After taking one bite, everything was clear to him. The heart-shaped omu rice was made with tender, loving care. It was heavenly, as expected. Yeah, this one sounds much more like it was written by a woman than the others. Alright. Hello, Abel Boboa. Kachim, I know. Export knows. I can just tell. I can tell by the words. I can tell by the repression of the passion. Trilith. Oh, Trilith knows about the hand flexes. Yes. That's peak Trilith. His hand can barely hold back. Yes, Ravenwolf, that's dirty. Alright, I see a request from Dirtfeather that I'll get to you before we finish up. Anybody else get Trilith's... Obviously, as a woman, I get Trilith's hand flexing reference. Anybody else get it? Anybody else know? Need to pull that up for you guys. Tells you everything you need to know about women and romance. Oh yeah, Hades, you know how it would go. Trilith, let me see if I can bring up... I need to show you the clip. It's too important. Let me try to bring it up. Yep. Comes right up. Alright. Oh, right, I can't play it for you. Damn it. Okay. Mr. Darcy and Lex. Okay, I'll just pause it at that part. I forgot I can't play it for you. La la la. Konosuba? No. Create water. Alright, so here's what happens, guys. I'll tell you the context, and then I'll show you a full screen of him doing the hand flicks. So Elizabeth is leaving after staying in the same manner as Mr. Darcy. He holds her hand to help her into the carriage. She glances at his hand, noticing that their hands are touching for the first time, perhaps. And then, after holding his hand... Oh, it's so blurry. He walks away. Are you guys ready for this? And as he walks away after holding his hand, he flexes it, because it's tingling with passion and heat. After touching her for that brief moment, he can barely hold back. Let me go back just a tiny bit. Oh, less. Oh, oh, damn it, you piece of crap. What a fine forward. No. Oh, that's the volume, idiot. There we go. He helps her in. Oh, our hands. Oh, there we go. And then he's all... Damn it, okay. Ah, flex the hand. He can barely contain himself. Yeah, that's what women want from their romance movies. But that's just until they lose control. Obviously, eventually they lose control. But this is what we want until then. Repressed sighs and shoulders brushing. That's how it be. Trilith. Do you all enjoy your education? It is Trilith. It is like so famous. It is like the #1 reference. It's like the origin of Bridgerton probably is this scene. K-Chim as a teenager, a lot of times, because, you know, I was very repressed, obviously. And so, yes, many times. Alright, everybody. Gonna do these 2 requests, then it's time for me to head out. Alright. Let me fix my voice. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Con. Con's BF. Yes, Jack Tricks, exactly. Part 2. It's Pride and Prejudice, Gamma Spectre. Pride and Prejudice is, like, pretty up there for, like, women's romances. Women love period pieces because of the repressed passion and the gentlemanly ways until they can barely contain it and be a gentleman because they're so passionate only for her. Not for anyone else. Alright. Dirtfeather's request. Thus we invoke the master of all knowledge. Ding. Shed your powers upon this machine. Ding, ding. Invest this device with your holy charge. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Alright. And Bravenwolf. Well, hello. I'll hold your hand, Commander. His hand belongs to Cinderella. She can share, can't she? I'll make an exception for you, Siren. You are my daughter, after all. All right. Yeah, I'm just saying. Talking to women part 2, we can move on to media that women enjoy and why. It'll give you insight into the female brain. All right, everybody. Yes, Consina, what is your question? Is this Consina or her boyfriend? I actually haven't seen Downton Abbey, Bravenwolf. Because I didn't have, like, wasn't it on, like, HBO or something, or PBS, and I didn't have that. Actually, Bravenwolf, I despise Gilmore Girls, but most women like it. You are correct. I absolutely despise that show. Just because I find the 2 female leads absolutely, like, intolerable and insufferable. I figured it out, Derp. I cannot stand Lorelai and Rory. I think they're awful, obnoxious people for me. They just clash. Consina. DM me, because I've already had someone ask about something similar. So go ahead and DM me on the Discord. I'm pretty flexible, mostly just depends on, like, amount of time. Also, Austin, are you in chat? Austin? That's true, K-Chim. Could write you your Wells Bond story. Impress you guys with my writing. Yeah, Gamma, I don't think I either didn't get the channel for Gilmore Girls back when it was on, or I wasn't allowed to watch it because my mom was, like, crazy controlling. Although there's, like, no sex in that show. But, so I didn't see it till an adult. I think if I'd seen it when I was younger, I would have liked it. But I didn't see it till I was an adult, and I think that's a problem. That's probably why I don't like it as much. I watched, like, 3 or 4 seasons. Because I used to just watch tons of seasons of shows while I was knitting. Alright, anyway. Majram, everybody.